destroy the poison empire. Standing on the front line, screaming more fire. That's the war cry of the Naya man tribe. I and Naya go rise from the conquering vibe. Judgment begun when the rapid shall let go. Revelation, let the seven trump echo. Let the seven trump echo.
Bless, 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 bless. Yes. Welcome to the flow. This is Repitoire, your host of Freedom Flow, and it is a beautiful night from a beautiful day. And the theme of this episode is exploring the beauty of looking at these songs that are entitled with girl names. So just stop and think about that for a second. What are your favorite songs that have girl names? Maybe you're a songwriter and you wrote a girl, and you wrote a song for a girl and entered her name into it. Maybe you're that creative, but I'm also noticing this theme came to me in light of just looking at the tenderness that one might be holding for themselves and for the world and for the situations. Because things have been rather rough lately in the times, and we're just looking for the flow. We're looking for the freedom in it. We also have a special guest coming up later on this episode. And just to check in with everyone, I am doing well. It was just recently my daughter's birthday. She's 11 years old strong, and she's just an amazing being and an amazing reflection of what life is. Such so thriving, so hungry for more knowledge. And, I actually had her on the flow. If you've been listening, you can check out that episode later on. But we're going to get into our theme, which is songs entitled with girl names, starting with Tony, 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 Annie Mae. This song is the jam. It takes me back, and one of my favorite parts is the breakdown. So be sure you listen close to that. This is Repertoire. Special guest coming up on the Freedom Flow, KCBZ Radio. Shouts out to Anthony and the crew over there at Situation Circumstance. Keep it locked. Yes, yes. This is Repertoire back with the Freedom Flow. You just heard Tony, 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 Annie Mae. Transition into Amy Winehouse, Valerian. We are honoring songs entitled with girls' names, female names, and a blessing it is to be here on this beautiful day and this beautiful night. And the special guest that we're about to get to, if you can even see what's happening behind me, there's a prayer fan that we made together for my daughter. And this person is such an important person in my life, and it's such an honor to get them on the show. So can we make a lot of noise for our special guest? Oh, yes.
Thanks, Randy.
In with the giggle. Would you please introduce yourself, and what would you go by these days? What do you do?
What do I do? Yeah, my name's Jill, and yeah, I love Randy. He and I have been working together for a long, long time. And yeah, things are kind of up in the air right now with the COVID thing happening. So I actually signed up for some classes. I'm going back to school in the fall. And I'm just doing some summer projects otherwise at home. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Going back to school. So we are going to begin, well, just to fill everyone in on a little bit of the history I have with Jill. I met you many years ago, and I had the opportunity this is when I became a trainer coach at Soul Shop. And it was just such an honor to be able to just help guide you through the journey that you've been through, and and learn so much from you as well. You have so much gold, and it's definitely something that's honored on the flow. So it's just a great honor to have you here. So thank you so much for just being here so far. And we're going to start with an activity, a little affinity, some statements, if you wouldn't mind answering them. So could you please tell me one thing you've accomplished and will always take pride in?
Oh, yeah, my babies, for sure. Having 2 kids, raising 2 kids, they're incredible human beings. And yeah, I'm always like super proud and probably overly motherly proud when I'm introducing them to people. But that's definitely, wow, yeah, the most important thing I've done. And I take a ton of pride in that, for sure.
Nice. Could you please tell me one way you help people and what you provide them?
Yeah, I believe that I provide them a listening ear. And maybe a positive perspective. If maybe things are kind of going into a negative spin, I can be a really good listener there, but then I can help maybe guide them to another way of looking at the same situation, so that maybe they can, if there's nothing they can do about the situation, maybe they can just feel less stress about it. Maybe they can look at it in a different way and have a different perspective, so they can pull themselves out of the funk that we can all get in.
Yeah, sometimes it's not the problem, it's how we're dealing with the problem sometimes, and I just love that you can provide that.
Yeah.
So last one, please tell us one person you believe in and why you stand behind them.
I believe in my longtime partner, Rod, and I stand behind him because I feel like his heart is always in the right place. And he really, really cares, obviously, about his family, but he's really passionate about everything he puts his heart into. And so I've watched him grow and expand in his career, and grow and expand in his ability to love his children over the years. And yeah, it kind of brings a tear to my eye, but I really do believe in him.
Mm. I feel him blushing as he's listening to this, or if he was. The energy of him, like, oh shucks. All right, so Jill, like I was sharing with everyone, I, got to know you many years ago, but I'm curious about, like little Jill, like where were you born, Jill? Like where'd you come up from?
Yeah, so I was born in Connecticut. We lived in a little tiny town called Coventry, but I was born in a hospital in Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
And then my dad got a job in Boulder, Colorado when I was about 2 years old. So we moved to Colorado, and I was raised in Boulder. I consider myself kind of an original granola girl from Boulder, Colorado. And yeah, I really enjoyed growing up there. It was a college town. It was really small when I was growing up. So you could really tell, like when college was in session, all of a sudden there's like, you can't go to the movies. There's long lines, but over the summer, nobody was around and you could go to the movies and there was no lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like a small town. Okay, nice. So, what I know of you worked with many children, and oftentimes it's really great just to hear their aspirations, like the freedom in their flow, so to speak. And I'm curious if you could recall for yourself, what were some of your childhood dreams or aspirations? Who did Jill want to be when she grew up?
I wanted to be magic, and like, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to be magic. I wanted to fly. I wanted to read people's minds. I wanted to be invisible. I wanted to have superpowers. And I actually really believed that I could be those things, so there's a part of it I think that stuck with me over the years. And I still feel like there's magic to be found, even if it's not exactly what I thought of when I was little. Yeah.
Wow, I love that you speak to that, because from what I remember of, training facilitators, especially those who are going to be in front of children, like to just make it through the process, there's a certain magic that they possess or that they're wielding. And from what I remember of you is that it was just obvious that you have a magic, and it was just a matter of like honing it and really refining it. And it doesn't surprise me that that's where you were at in that. That's awesome. So I'm curious, was there any people in your life who you feel because I see you, and I hold you in such a high place in my heart, and high place just as a being. I just know you to be such a giving and open flow of love and heart. And I imagine there were people who helped you along the way and mentored you with this dream of being magical. Like, who are these people you can recall for you growing up?
Wow, that's a really good question. I mean, I really do feel like I have to say, us siblings growing up, I had two brothers and a sister. I think both of my brothers are listening. And I feel like we gained a lot of strength from each other growing up. I feel like we leaned on each other. Maybe when mom and dad weren't quite as available. And it, you know, sometimes it would be like an older brother and I against the two little ones, or sometimes it would be the girls against the boys, but we were always like doing something. I have really fond memories of that. But there's one teacher that stands out to me, and she's the teacher that actually helped me like math for the first time. Totally changed my world. Her name was Mrs. Niels, and she was my teacher in 5th grade. And for some reason, I was just scared to death of math until my 5th grade teacher came along, and she totally changed me from that point on and helped me really fall in love with math and have the confidence to do math. Yeah, so I know that's not like about magic. That was kind of magic to me, actually. You know, to have math all of a sudden be a part of my life that I'm so happy about.
Yeah, I don't think we should ever downplay the mathematics of things. You know, if there's one thing I've learned is that it's all in numbers and it's all in divine symmetry as it was designed. I'm just noticing how intrigued I am by learning these things about you. Like, these are the intricacies that make the fiber of the person, right? And it's like you can just appreciate the person so much more if you already appreciate them. So thank you for blessing me thus far. We're just at the beginning, girl. This is chapter 1. We gonna get it. So, so can you recall, you know, you spoke to some of the family dynamics, some of the things growing up, having brothers as mentors, people to look up to, people to maybe even teach you had a little brother as well, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And so was there an event that you can recall for you that really humbled you? Like, oh, wow, I learned so much from that happening. Or maybe it was a camp or something that happened that really molded maybe your sense of, like, you know, how you treat people or how you look at yourself.
Yeah, I remember, it's funny, I didn't go to many camps, but I was involved in this Boulder youth choir growing up, and we did go to an overnight camp, and I remember I was really emotional, and I remember being like, trying to get attention. Like, I was being emotional, trying to get attention, and like inside I knew this, right? And I kind of took it out on this boy. I don't remember his name, but this was so, this opened my eyes, like, whoa, I really hurt this person's feelings. And it was the first time I realized that, and especially looking back, I gave him the poison that I was feeling. I passed my bad feelings on somebody else. And I realized what I was doing. I was like 12 years old, and I felt the pain and the guilt that I felt from that time, that I actually was trying to help myself feel better by passing my poison on to somebody else. That was a huge lesson. Yeah, I haven't thought about that, Randy. I'm not surprised that you would help me bring something like that up, but it was a big deal, very humbling, and I learned a lot from it, like who I am and how do I want to treat people.
Yeah, you know, there's something about learning the power of like this externalization. I feel like as humans we don't get it until like sometimes it's out of us and we're like, wow. Or maybe we see someone maybe react or on impulse the way that we might and see the results of that, or the sacrifice that, or what the damage that was done. You know. Yeah, and you know, and part of that is within your magic. You know, you were talking about, you know, passing on the poison, you know, and what I'm learning in life is that within the poison is the medicine. And, you know, there's so much, there's the healing point for you to feel humble. You know, I feel like the essence of our humbleness is remembering we're human. Like, oh, this is what humans do. You know, we make an error sometimes. So is there an event that you can recall perhaps maybe that was healing for you when you were growing up?
Let's see. I would say, yeah, I mean, I had some great girlfriends growing up. I had like 5 of us in our little gang. And so um, I feel like we were really honest with each other, and we were able to support each other through things. And sometimes when we were feeling down, we would have this thing called a candy party. And we would walk down to the store with whatever money we had, my allowance, and just buy all the candy we could and then go to the park. I know that's probably not exactly what you're looking for, but that's what came to mind. It was really healing because it was like there's freedom in that. I could like go down to the store, I could buy whatever I want, I could eat it, if I got sick, whatever.
There's healing in indulgence.
Yeah, there was some healing there. And just, like being with my friends and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the community. Yeah, awesome. So, can you recall? Remember, I would imagine you were in Boulder at this time. Some of your first roles, some of your first jobs. Like my first job that I remember officially was being a busboy, and that was so humbling to me to be so invisible. And so now I'm like paying attention and noticing everyone and wanting to just validate their existence, especially even the person you walk by all the time in the restroom at the airport.
Yeah.
They're there for a reason. So, how about for you? What was one of your first jobs or roles that you remember?
Well, we worked for, my dad worked for the city. So I think my very first job was in an office, and I was doing microfilm, microfiche. You know what that is?
No, it was like
So like I would have the microfilm. Microfiche is like the machine that would read these little strips of film, and my job was to put these little tiny strips of film inside these little like envelopes, so that you could put it in the microfilm and read it. So I was putting the film into the envelopes and filing them.
okay.
Yeah.
Fine motor skills. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. But then when I got a little older, a lot of us in my family worked at the pools, like the pools around town.
Like lifeguarding? Like as lifeguards?
I was
or okay.
like more of a cashier.
Okay.
And maybe I assisted with some swimming lessons and things like that.
Nice.
But yeah, I didn't go the waitressing route like a lot of my friends did. I ended up doing like I worked at a clock store. I did a lot of little things like that. Yeah.
So when you say what your friends did, I'm assuming that I'm guessing that you're maybe referring to like the norm. What was the norm? Maybe what to do?
Yeah, I feel like the norm was to go work at McDonald's or Denny's or around the corner and get a waitressing job. Yeah.
Was there a particular reason why you weren't, going with the grain? I mean, I don't know you to be that person now, but I'm just curious as to like what was with that like back then. You're just like, no, I don't want to do that. I belong here, maybe. Like, what was the impulse for you in that?
Yeah, part of it I think was that I kind of wanted to make my dad proud and work like in his office and do something. And I was making a little bit more money than working at the restaurant at that time. So I was kind of drawn to that.
Nice.
And probably wanting to make my dad proud was pretty high on my list at that age.
Yeah, it's the first thing that came up.
Yeah.
when you referred that. So I'm curious. We are always facing maybe adversity or maybe some struggles, and I have this thing called the motivational mantra. And mine currently, it's I feel like it's always there, and it stemmed from every intervention is divine, and it kind of evolved into divine timing. And I feel everything is on divine timing. So, do you have a mantra that maybe you say to yourself, and maybe you're facing something that's hard or difficult that helps you get through it?
Ooh, I would say I go back to the breath. So I'm just like, just breathe, Jill, just breathe. I'm just like, just breathe. And I think that's it, Randy. Like,
just stop and breathe. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's just like, just breathe. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like our great friend Eric B had reminded us before we even got onto here to stop and breathe.
Yes. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, and I remember that was the emphasis on the last episode. Is just taking in those moments, like when someone wants to love you. Do you let them? Are you open to that, and can you let it all in? And and we're gonna get back to you, Jill, with more of your awesome magical story after our little break, where we're gonna, go back in time a little bit with some of the songs entitled with girls' names with one of my favorite artists, Stevie Wonder, and Sunny. Oh, this song has been on some commercials. This song has been done by many people, but I don't think as good as Stevie does it. Blessings. Keep it locked. Freedom Flow. KCBZ Radio. Woo! That was a hot set of music there. You just heard Stevie Wonder, Sonny, Little Richard, Lucille, and Pentatonics and Dolly Parton with the awesome version of Jolene. And when I just think about each one of those vocalists, boy, do they sing those lyrics with feeling. We're right here with our guest, special guest, Jill, and she was just talking about where she came up from, some of her first jobs, her mentors, her magical dreams as a child of being magic, and already she is magic. How you feeling, Jill?
I'm great, Randy. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
What'd you think about that song set right there, or just any one of those songs?
Yeah, the harmonies in that in Jolene was just spectacular. I haven't heard that version.
Neither have I. As I was as excavating through these songs with female names as the title, I came across it and I was like, Pentatonics, what? So, there's just something about the vocals that'll bring out the essence of the song. And what I love about that song is that unlike a lot of other songs that we're going to listen to tonight that are entitled with female names, this song is about like the girl singing to the other girl who's like the side chick to her man, and she's like pleading to Jolene to like not take him away. And there's something about just these days how maybe a female might just look at that as a hater or as like their enemy, and there's just something about this maturity around the lyrics in that. What do you think about that song in general?
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that, because every time I listen to that song, I can feel that feeling of like, come on, like, you can have anybody you want, just leave mine alone. And then my mind always goes to, well, if my man wants to leave, I gotta let him leave. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be second choice either. So if Jolene's your first, go ahead on,
Wow. And it's so mature. I just feel
it's so mature, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorites? I think you had text me over a few. What are some favorite songs that you have that are entitled with female names?
So there's another song called Jolene that Ray LaMontagne does. And I actually play this song. This song is beautiful. Also Melissa by the Allman Brothers. Mary Jane by Alanis Morissette.
Okay.
And then my brother said, Roxanne by Sting.
I thought about that one already. Yeah.
And then Sweet Caroline by my sister Kristen. Yeah.
Yes. Man, I knew that some of the more, I guess, obvious ones would come into play.
Sure.
And they were like, top of my list, of course, are the first hits, if you were to Google that. And, I'm a bit more of a curveball person, though. So I'm going to throw some at you that maybe you haven't heard the version of, or maybe even haven't heard. We're going to see. But yeah, it's just such a beautiful thing that people have done throughout time is use names and incorporate people's stories within a song.
Yeah.
I think it's really awesome. And you being a fellow musician, I know you have the appreciation for that. Awesome.
Thank you for calling me that.
Fellow musician, you don't consider yourself as
yeah. I mean, okay, so I have written a couple of songs, but there's no I shouldn't say but. It's just more musical. More, what do you call that? No words, no lyrics.
Instrumental.
Thank you.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, but still doesn't, I just wasn't appreciating how you were downplaying your musicianship because my friends don't treat my friends like that. I'm sorry. It's just not going to work. All right.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for sticking up for me.
Always, always. So I'm curious, we're going to get into another little activity here. And what I love is that you were talking about wanting to be magic. And some of this, I imagine that some of the more entertaining answers to these questions have been involving the magic. So what would change if you had one wish granted?
Yeah. If I had one wish granted, then there would be no white supremacy. It would be everybody. Like, let's say we came over and we worked with the indigenous people instead of stealing their lands. Maybe we learned from them and we're all like together living in harmony for real.
Wow. Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. I feel you. I recently saw a post on Facebook where it was like the Last Supper and everyone in the picture was of color, and just how things would change if the depiction of, people from, so-called place were depicted as they looked in that so-called place, Thank you for that answer and for your honesty. I'm curious, what would change if you could control one of the four elements?
If I could control water, first of all, I think I could probably then not be so fearful of the depths of the oceans, which is a funny place for me. So it's kind of like all about me when I say it like that. But the water is like, it's always carried us from place to place, right? Like you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere on the water. So maybe if I controlled the waters, I would allow for safe travel for everybody to go wherever they want to go.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I from what I imagine, we are made up of mostly water. Mm-hmm. Our human just being. Okay, yeah. Awesome. All right, how about this one? You ready? Mm-hmm. What would change if you woke up tomorrow as a child?
I'd be upset, for one thing. No, I already did that. I don't want to go back. But I would play. I would probably just play, and if I was a child, but I had all the knowledge, then I'd really be able to mess with people. You know what I mean? Oh, that's so fun. But I would stay in school forever. I would just learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. Yeah. Mm.
Wow. I like that. I love how your first impulse was messing with people, right? like knowing that your friend's gonna get grounded for this, but encouraging it anyways. Yeah, go do that. Yeah.
No, believe me, I've seen this. It's gonna work out.
Oh, you're too much. Okay, so let's imagine that frame. What would change if, and if you could come up with any one of those questions for me, what might you ask?
Oh, yeah. So, Randy, what would you do if you could, like, just be anything, like just wake up tomorrow and poof, like you have everything, the powers that you want, the love in your life, whatever it is, what you're giving to the world, like what would that be?
Wow. Ooh. You should have prepped me for this one. This is heavy. No, it's on how you take it. I would wow, that's a good one. I feel as if, like, I have this vision. I had this recent vision of like all the eyes on me, and I was just crying. I was just crying, and tears were just falling, and I was just letting it out. You know, I've had this vision of creating this other show on Facebook Live or on just these different platforms called Healing Hour, and it's this opportunity where we just get to heal, and it's a platform for healing for others, and I have to go there first. So yeah, I just have this vision, and just so much healing that might take place within people seeing and feeling the tears, because there's something about tears that's undeniable. You know, even the fake ones don't even get to fall right. You know, so so
Yeah.
that's what I would be. I would just be like, you know, like how you were talking about, you're just so emotional. Like I just feel like I just have so much emotion inside me that if the world can only see my heart healing, we would all be good.
Whoa, that is beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, any more? I like this.
Yeah. Okay, so what would you do if you could suddenly fly?
Oh my goodness! Wow. What I'd want to do is, I feel as if it's interesting you say that, because I feel as if I do that now in reality, and just kind of zoom out on perspectives and situations and circumstance. Shout out to Mr. Classic out there. So I would basically go up and I would take like a bird's eye view shot of things, and situationally too, and maybe it's just like the racism structure of a certain workplace, and then go show it to them. Like, wow, this is how it looks, and this is how it's structured. This is how it's supported. This is how it's been continuing. So it would just get. I'd want to share people. I would want to share with people the point of view from what it's like up there. And I have the bird. I have the bird right here on this new headband thing that I got. It's upside down, but it's beaded, and I'm inspired to want to do some more bird stuff. So blessings. Thank you so much for that. You should host your own show, Joe. Wow, that's
Yeah.
really intriguing. You just really know how to dig deep to your guest, and I don't see the shovel you're holding here. This is amazing. So we talked in our first segment about, you know, who you were then, where you were brought up from, you know, what makes you you. So we're gonna, you know, so I'm curious, you know, as to, you had mentioned already the COVID and being in shelter and all this. You know, before that though, I know you to be working at Soul Shop, and to be an awesome peacemaker trainer. And so what have you been up to now? Who's the Jill of recent time? You said you have these classes you're signing up for. What's going on with that?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I think it's just a really interesting time where a lot of people are changing what we're doing, right? Whether we're forced to or whatever by choice. But I really enjoy taking classes, and so I was in school when I was hired on the Soul Shop 5 years ago, and yeah, we need to shout out about Soul Shop. I mean, if, you know, that's really just a side note here that's super important. You know, if you're a teacher, if you are a parent, Soul Shop's going online with the times, and you know, we're providing amazing programming for how to deal with your emotions and how to have great relationships and how to provide our heart to people and how to give more love and how to receive more love. Like you were saying, Randy, like receiving is not always that easy. So yeah, Soul Shop.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to class. I'll be taking math and astronomy. And it's gonna be interesting to see, like, I just kind of have an open end right now. And I feel comfortable in that place, right?
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. I'm really excited about what's coming next. I'm taking a leadership program through Landmark. That's also going to take a lot of time and effort. And I think Landmark is one of those brilliant organizations that, like, they help you to unwind from all your programming. And I spend time also in specific groups to unwind from white supremacy. So I spend my time with that, which is the most important unwinding to do. And Landmark really assists in helping me unwind from all of the programming. And so it's like every time I take a course with them, it's like taking my life back a little bit and gaining more access to relationships and
Whew.
Yeah, and gaining more access to me, like who I am under all the programming. And it's a lifetime of wonderful work that I'm just thrilled to continue.
Wow.
Yeah.
So once again, I want to just repeat that. So you are saying landmark, because you just mentioned a whole bunch of amazing things that I'm gonna imagine as a listener, people are intrigued about the
Yeah.
unwinding, the programming. What is the programming at first? And just hearing your journey so much about your growth and just who you become through this program. We'll definitely talk more about that after this break for sure. But thank you for mentioning landmark, and thank you for once again highlighting Soul Shop. It is the roots of who we are, Jill. I'm just having so much fun on this show, this episode with you. I feel as if it's like we were talking about yesterday. It's just a conversation, and we just get to be us, and share who we are with the brilliant listeners out there. And if you're tuning in, Jill is just really awesome, and it's just such a joy every time I get to be around you. And I'm glad you're going to stick around. We're going to get to more of who Jill is and what Jill will be up to in the future after this next break. We're about to jump into some more of our theme, which is songs entitled with female last names. And this next one is classic. It's Ike and Tina, Proud Mary. What I love about this song is that she talks about the transitions of being sweet and smooth, and then I jump into the jam of it. I can just picture her dress and just her moving and shaking on stage how she did. And then we're going to transition into our poem piece of the day. And so listen close to that. Blessings, you are tuned into Freedom Flow. This is Repitoire on KCBZ Radio. It's going down. Destination Global. Ike and Tina, Proud Mary. We're going to be back with Jill in just a moment.
Eventually, I need your possibility like I need a night worth sleeping for. Thank you.
Bless, bless. Welcome back to the flow. You just heard Ike and Tina, Proud Mary, and our poem piece for the night by Bassie Ikpi, Apology to My Unborn. We are here with Jill, and as we were both listening to that, what did you make of that piece?
It's like, I'm a mother, I had a mother, all the mothers that have ever been, and what we wish for our child and how we lean on our children when we don't want to, and how we fear for their lives and how we fear for them to be more, less than us, and we want them to be more. We want them to take everything that we are and grow from there and never stop and live the dreams that we could never live. And I mean, just, coming back to just my own experience, my mother raised me with a ton of fear. And so I had to like really understand what was real fear for, the fear that I just had, just massive fear. So the gifts that we can give our children of really realizing those things that are passed down in our ancestry and those things that are passed down, so that we can reveal those and see those and maybe not pass those things down to our kids. Maybe, stop the things that are unhealthy and continue the things that are healthy.
Yeah, those generational things over time that you get to notice. And, I feel it's so important to have that poem and have you be the first one responding as a proud mom. It's one of the things you were proud of, and one of the things you'll always take pride in is how you raised your children. And, there was something about hers talking about waking up on the wrong side of the day, and that, actually that was a piece that kind of reminded me of you, in a sense. I remember first meeting you, and there was this kind of outlook you had on things, on your future results on things. And I'm like, really? Let's challenge that and see. And this fear that you speak of that you were raised with was a bit present in that. And just, I think that's a testament to your growth, a testament to who you are today, and a testament to the magic that you've become for all the other children out there that I've heard that you've shared with me. And I can only imagine the adults that were benefiting from your presence in the room as you brought the little part of Jill who was afraid in the room, you know, to touch that part of them that's fearful as well for their children. You know, you get to go in as the mom and the child. Oh, that's magic.
Thank you, Randy. Yeah, well, you were a huge part of all of that and help me bringing out my magic so that I could be there. Yeah, being with those parents and being with the kids, I hope I can do that again sometime.
Yeah, definitely a magical experience. So we were before the break, we were talking about Landmark and the beautiful ways in which takes a look at the programming. Their program is taking a look at the programming that we get as human beings and how we can escape some of it and reprogram some of that stuff. So I'm curious for you, you're talking about, I love that you were promoting this thing that you were leading for them. It's like, wow, look at you being a student of the program and then becoming a teacher or instructor of some of the program or sharing some of the program from what you know of. And the theme of just white supremacy that you've been bringing up throughout the day. So I'm curious as to the future of Jill. Like with more Landmark, with more excavation and education of this, what do you see of the future of Jill?
Yeah, that's a great question. You should have a show or something.
Called The Future of Jill.
No. I like Freedom Flow.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's so interesting to be sitting here like who I am now, and there's some things that I'm aware of that I know, right? And there's some things that I don't know, but I know that I don't know them. Like I know I don't know how to fly a plane, right? I know I don't know how to give brain surgery.
Oh, shucks.
But there are things that I don't know that I don't know. And that's the beauty of this like always living into possibility and working to approach those walls that we come across and approach the things that scare us. I mean, go towards that. I feel like that's more of my Buddhist training than like Shambhala meditation training is like go toward the conflict, right? Go toward the stuck places and see what's going on in there, which I think that's an awesome way to live, right? Because otherwise we're always avoiding. But
it's the path of a warrior, of what I've heard.
Cool.
Is one who consistently enters the place that scares them.
Mm-hmm.
So I hear you say this, and it's beautiful because it's so humbling to be like, I don't know that, and I feel like that's how we actually learn, through that curiosity. So from what you know, what might you see like that?
You're going to answer the question.
No, but I guess there's not really, it's the future. It's not like you have to. There's no right or wrong,
Yeah, I'm excited for that, Randy, because like when I can tell you that I've been married for 26 years, and for the first 22 of them, I was resentful, massively resentful. And so, yeah, it encompassed my marriages, even though I had lots of, we had friendship, we had all the yummy stuff. I was carrying resentment, more than I even knew. So to be free from that, like, I just can't even, I'm so excited about what else is it that I don't know that I'm going to be free from, so that I can further my, like, whatever I'm going to do in the world, however I'm going to help the things that I believe in and be more powerful in those things. Because I'm, I'm still stopping myself from really getting out there the way I want to, right? So I have to face that which is stopping me. Yeah.
Wow. So face that which is stopping you. I like that. That was a great way to sum it up. And I just want to highlight how much I adore your husband as well. Just meeting him, and if he's hearing this, love you, Rod. Such a big heart, and I could see why. You're the perfect partner for each other. And so being free from resentment is what you see. And I mean, it's like
So I am free from, like, the last 4 years I've lived without resentment in my marriage, which I never thought was possible.
Wow.
So what else is possible, I guess, right? So
That's the question.
yeah.
Yeah. So what you're saying here, and I think it kind of linked into what you said, because what I know of resentment is that it's bitter. And what I know of glory is that it's sweet. And what I know about both is that they're fleeting. We're not, you know what I'm saying, in a sense of like, you know, you're resentful about this, but you're carrying just the resentment to the next, I guess, predicament in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And it's not always going to be that way, you know, and it's not always going to be glory either. So there's this place of which, like you just spoke to, how you're holding yourself back from doing the things that you kind of want to do. And I'm curious, do you see any of your resentment being part of that wall that's holding you back?
Yeah, maybe. Like the resentment of not finishing my degree, right? That's not like at anybody. It's just like,
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm like, it doesn't matter how old I am. I can always do this. And so that's what I'm doing now, right? I'm going towards that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's imagine that like this could happen for you, right? And let's imagine you go back to school, you finish that, you can just let go of these things like off the list, cross it off the list, right? And let's imagine maybe how long do you think that might be for this to actually in reality take place?
Oh,
just guesstimate, you know.
Okay, let's say you know, because I'm not taking a full load, and you know, so maybe like 3-4 years, something like that. 3 years.
3.5 years. We'll go 3.5. Okay. 3.5 years. Okay. And so when you say, let's just picture you having no resentment over anything in your life. What are you doing?
Yeah, man, that's amazing. I'm like super
what would you do?
Free.
Okay.
I am. I'm still speaking. Like I've always seen myself speaking, and that's what my job at Soul Shop was, being a facilitator. But it's something different. It's like it's really just touching on like keeping the conversation going about unwinding from white supremacy. That's just my biggest.
I knew it would come back to that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're keeping the conversation going. That's nice. So maybe there's this event where it's like called like facing the truth, or like let's face it, right? Or just like it's called it's called the elephant, right? And you're just kind of leading this conversation around white supremacy, and all the people are there, and they're coming. And like, how big is this event? Just imagine real quick. 1,000?
Yeah, I actually do imagine it quite large. Like maybe.
Yeah, me too. A lot of people need it.
Yes. This is true. Let's say it's 600 people.
Like it. All right. And where is this event at? Can we just pick a location? Maybe it's even in Connecticut. We'll start at home.
600 white people in Connecticut. Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So now that we have these details and our flight plan, my beautiful friend Jill, would you be willing to indulge into an activity of time travel with me?
Yes.
Awesome. And all it requires is the freedom and the flow, which we are already in. And it also requires us to remember to stop and breathe. Because when we're one with our breath, we can be one with all. And as you breathe, I just invite you to take in what we were just talking about. And imagine what that might really feel like for that to happen. So we're about to take 3 more deep breaths. And by the 3rd breath, we're going to be there. I'm going to run into you, and we're going to see what happens. So let's take that first deep breath. And as you exhale, remember that energy of the conversation. Let's take our second deep breath. And as you exhale, imagine yourself back in your hometown. with your magic and gold. And on your third deep breath, as you exhale, imagine yourself there. Because when you open your eyes, we will be there. So yeah, man, he said he's gonna meet me here real quick. Oh, is that Jill? Hey Jill, how you doing? Oh my God! I'm doing this travel around America with Frankie real quick, and I can't find her. She said she's gonna be at this restroom or something. What are you doing here?
Oh man, this is amazing. I really want to see Frankie. How old is she now?
Oh my goodness, she's like 14. Oh my goodness, it's crazy.
Oh no way.
Yeah, so what are you doing here?
Woman.
Connecticut, weren't you talking about you were born in Connecticut? What are you doing here?
I know, it's crazy. I'm like giving this massive talk, keeping the conversation going, unwinding from white supremacy and really understanding what it means to be an ally. And, you know.
Oh, that's you on this.
It's amazing.
Is that you on this poster? I thought I recognized it was you. Yeah, I remember you were talking about something, but when you shared with me, you had a lot of resentment about like whether or not you should do it or whether or not people want to hear it. Like, how did you get over that?
Oh, it's such a good question. How did I get over that? Yeah, I think I just kept moving forward, I ended up getting my degree in something cool that's what goes along with this. Probably criminal justice. Like I'm in there, I'm criminal justice reform, so I think it was just this one foot in front of the other. I just kept moving forward. And ever since that, remember when I was on your Freedom Flow?
The interview.
Show?
It
totally started that day. Like my life changed after that moment.
Wow.
It was awesome.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes it's just a switch we gotta flip.
Yeah, and thank you for flipping my switch.
Well, that's it was my middle name in high school, Randy the Flip Switcher Fortes. So it's just wow. Well, are you gonna go on soon? Because I'm just so bad I get to miss this. Is there a video link you could send me?
Absolutely, Randy. You got it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's such an important thing about the conversation you were having that I feel only the brave ones are going to stand for. So thank you for being one of those courageous ones to be a stand for this. It means a lot. How does it feel to be known as that?
It's really more important to me that people are just understanding this invisible blanket that we live under, being raised white. We just have no clue, right? So to become aware of the reality, it's like being in the Matrix. And that's been my experience. Or, it's like waking up to a world I didn't know existed. To understand
it's the red pill.
It's the red pill.
It's the red pill. Oh my goodness, Jill. Well, I'm getting a text from Frankie right now. I got to meet up with her reservation, but we're gonna keep in touch. We'll keep in touch. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll get back to you. Thank you so much. I love you, Jill. Blessings.
You too.
So I invite you again to just breathe it in, become realigned with your breath, and remember who you are. Who you can become. Because we're going to take 3 more deep breaths. Start with the first one. When you exhale this breath, remember the words and the paths and the steps it took to get there. And the second deep breath. And as you exhale, remember who you are in this moment and what's possible for you. And with this third deep breath, remember what it feels like to be free. Because it sounded as if it was as easy as a switch flipping. And when you open your eyes, we will be back here.
Wow.
Welcome back.
Beautiful exercise. Thank you, Randy.
What was that like? What was that like?
Yeah, it was really, I really allowed it. So I really felt like I got kind of into a little bit of a hypnotic state. You know, just the countdown and everything. I feel like my brain's kind of used to doing that, and I kind of allow it. And then I was just there, and we met, and it was amazing. And I was bummed that I didn't get to see how beautiful Frankie is at 14. But yeah, it's really, really beautiful, and I believe it. Like it's not something that's so outlandish, right? It's just like I feel like it's where my life is going, and what I'm passionate about, and what I want to spend my time on. So let's imagine.
Yeah, let's imagine someone's listening and they're like, wow, I need to get in touch with this woman somehow and find out about Landmark. I need to sign up for this workshop. How might someone get a hold of you? What are some of the handles you have on social media or something like that?
Oh, yeah. I don't go on Facebook a ton, but I believe I'm just Jill Brittner on Facebook. Okay. But I'm, let's see here. How about Jill Brittner at iCloud.com? That's a good email for me.
That'll work.
And Jill Brittner on Facebook. Yeah, Brittner. Yeah, okay, let's talk about let's keep this conversation. If you want to talk about anything. Yeah, totally.
Awesome. And if you want to have any input on Freedom Flow in this show, you can contact us or be a guest. Contact us at #1freedom. #1flow@gmail.com. Oh my goodness, Jill, it's been so awesome just having you here. Any shout outs you have for anyone? Any shout outs?
Oh yeah, my family's listening. So Jimmy and Beth and Logan and Malia and Kristen and Ben and Tessa and Zoe and Everly.
I feel like we're in Romper Room. Yeah. And I see Jill, and I see Rod, and I see Jordan, and I see. So, like I was saying to you yesterday, we're about to get into our last song.
Okay. Cool.
And pretty soon. And from what I know, I wanted to, just this artist just brings me back to my childhood because my mom loves this band, and I remember her playing the vinyl all the time, and hearing the voice of this singer just brings me back to the part of my own childhood that I have resentment for and how I need to free from my flow. So I want to thank you for your medicine and for your magic and for all that you bring. And if you wouldn't mind taking us into our last song, Jill, please.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Randy. I love you. I believe in your magic. And just like everything you have to offer. And thanks for inviting me on the show. And Eric, it's wonderful to see you, and I love you, and I'm really honored to be here with both of you. So
what do we listen to?
The question is, wouldn't you love to love her? This is Rhiannon by Fleetwood Mac on KB's Radio. Woohoo!